and welcome to another episode of the Studio 78 podcast. I am your host, Nache from NacheSnow.com. Welcome. Okay, so as I mentioned last week, I was planning on kind of ending the season right about now, take a little bit of break, interview a whole bunch of amazing women, and then come back at the end of the summer. However, because of the pandemic, I was like, you know what? Let me sneak a couple more episodes in for my listeners. And so today I have on Nicole Crowder. And if you guys have been listening for a while, then you know she was on episode 62, Growing an Upholstery Business Through Intentional Entrepreneurship. I got a lot of great feedback from that episode, and I know a lot of you guys even started following her after listening to that episode. And if you have been following her, you have seen her tremendous growth over the last 2 years. When she spoke about that intentional entrepreneurship, I mean, she lived it, and you can see that through her brand. And so I had someone not too long ago who was like, hey, Nache, why don't you bring back some of your original guests so we can see how they're doing? And immediately, you know, several people came to mind, but she was like on the top of that list because I just love seeing her growth. It's very not only intentional, but just authentic, and the branding that surrounds like her whole business is amazing. So I just felt like she was the perfect person to like bring back on for just a little bit of a check-in, and she did not disappoint. So this is episode 110. You can get the show notes at NacheSnow.com/110. And we talk a little bit about everything in this episode, from how she's grown to her finding a place to have her workshops, to collaboration she's had and how that's helped her grow. She even has like these meditation pillows now that she put out during COVID-19, and that has like taken off for her, which is amazing. And we talk a little bit about energy management and shipping woes and time blocking, and we even get into managing multiple IG accounts. So this conversation goes a lot of different places, and I love it. And we just talk about kind of like all the things that, you know, we're dealing with as entrepreneurs, small businesses, what have you. It was just like a really good conversation. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. So just a couple of housekeeping things. If you stop what you're doing right now, open up Apple Podcasts if you have an iPhone, and please rate me 5 stars. I really appreciate it. If you leave a comment, even better. If you're listening to this on YouTube, just go down below and hit subscribe, and also give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And wherever you're listening, whatever the mechanism is to give feedback, please do it. And this episode is so good. Please share it. You know, share it on IG stories, share it on Facebook. As I always say, sharing is caring. So put it in your favorite Facebook group, because that just helps me kind of move up the ranks in Apple Podcast in the different categories. And thank you to everyone who has already done that. And then last but not least, I just wanted to mention, if you're looking to get organized right now, remember I have the How to Organize Your Life to Make Time for Your Passions course over on Skillshare. And you can get 2 months of Skillshare free if you don't already have Skillshare by going to NacheSnow.com/Skillshare. Okay, let's get into this episode. Oh, and I forgot to mention one thing. Skype was being really funny with us when we recorded this, so kudos to Nicole for all of her patience. But you might hear a few spots where the volume cuts out. It's only a few spots, but you can pretty much tell what's being said. So just wanted to give you a heads up. Okay, now let's get to the episode. All right, people. I just have Nicole on just to talk about just what she's been up to since we talked to her. Let's see. I had the date up. I think it was like August of like 2018, maybe, that I talked to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
2018. So definitely people check it out. It was episode 62, Growing an Upholstery Business Through Intentional Entrepreneurship. And I tell you what, Nicole has been on it. Social media growing, getting more products out there. It's great.
We are out here. Oh my gosh.
And isn't that crazy?
It is wild to think about. Like, so much time has passed, and then I feel like we're still, here, same apartment, still moving.
And people, I've just found out we share the same birthday too,
31st
March.
Goodness.
So we're fire sign unite.
I'm just so hyped about that. As soon as you were saying your birthday's in March, my brain is automatically like, all March birthdays are on March 31st, of course.
Right. I mean, is there any other day?
So excited. Come on, Aries energy.
Yeah, but if you could just tell us, like, how has the business grown since 2018? Like, what have you been doing, and what pros, cons, all the things? Yeah.
All the things. I'm trying to remember when I talked to you last time, I think I was just getting ready to move into a studio space over on Georgia Avenue, if I wasn't already in there. But I moved into a space because I just had to get out of I couldn't continue to work in my apartment. Things were just growing too quickly, the volume, the speed. So I was very fortunate to connect with a friend who was working out of a space called the Lemon Collective over on Georgia Avenue. And when their lease ended, it was like right around the time that I was trying to find something. And so I moved over in there, and I worked out of that space for about a year. Yep, because my landlords were going to turn that space into like a pizza shop or something. Mm-hmm. So moving over there changed a lot for me. Just that physically expansive space was allowing me to bring in more work, different types of work. I was no longer just doing chairs. It became couches. I was collaborating with restaurants and hotels, the clients that I have been wanting to really work with, and also just other makers. That was my first opportunity to really experiment with sort of a retail setup. I used that studio as my workroom, part showroom, but also as a retail space. And I wanted to showcase really beautiful housewares from makers all over the country. And then my lease in that space ended, and I had to find something else. And as you know, in D.C., rent is a premium. Finding an artist, that like has light, has space, is not going to break the bank as if, another space you're living in. So I just hit the ground running, really connecting with landlords and seeing what property was available. And again, word of mouth. A friend was moving out of her studio space over in Northeast D.C. and along the Arts Walk, which when I tell you like the full circle moment of this, because her specific studio over in the Arts Walk in Brooklyn was where I had been wanting to work from for years, even before I had my upholstery business. Like, it's just this beautiful, like 750 square foot space, high ceilings, just all the light you can think about. And it's in a great location. It's right there on the Catholic University's campus.
Oh, yeah. And it's called Brookland, right? Like, it's like Brookland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Enunciate that. Like, not Brooklyn, Brookland.
I know. Because people kept saying that. And I was like, what are they talking about? And then I found out, like, there's, like, this whole little kind of artsy community with all these, like, cool shops.
Absolutely. And it is kind of hidden. I know the previous management, Bizzuto, sort of manages the property now, but there's so many amazing artists over there. You can find everyone doing leather work and jewelry and ceramics, clothing, all kinds of stuff. So I was just very, very excited, grateful when my friend said she was also moving out of that space, and her lease also was ending at the same time my lease was ending. So the overlap of time was just perfect. I used to teach upholstery workshops out of that space. And so to be able to work there now or not now specifically, but I moved in November. It's changed everything. And my whole disposition, the excitement about going to work, again, the kind of projects that I'm able to do. I've been able to host more upholstery workshops and also treat that space a little bit as a showroom / retail spot. But it's so much has changed. And now this year, 2020, I've been able to introduce a new product, which is meditation pillows, which I've been wanting to do for a little bit. And the launch happened sooner than I thought, and in a different capacity than I was planning to, of course.
Right.
I made 6 initially. One I wanted to have for myself, just my own meditation process. It is how I start my day, and in many cases how I end my day. And I was just like, I wanted to create a takeaway product instead of something that was a bigger chunk, like commissioning a piece of furniture. And when the quarantine, the stay-at-home orders happened in D.C., I was like, I wanted to offer them up to people. I was really conflicted about selling them because I didn't want, it wasn't something I was trying to monetize or get people to come out of their pocket in any kind of way. So I said, I'll offer up 6 that I have. And if there's an interest by other people, I'm happy to make more. And people can donate whatever they want for the pillow. And just like the generosity of this community, not just in D.C., but the orders have been coming from all over the country, was mind-blowing. Like, I didn't know how many people had been wanting to start a meditation process or had been wanting a pillow or had just been wanting something, that I made. And it was this beautiful moment of being able to contribute to design products just, with the fabrics that I have, use my imagination to come up with really cool pairings and give them to people that would also serve their well-being. Like, it made me so happy and excited. So that has been a new offering that I'm really, really happy to have introduced during this time. And I absolutely am making more. Like, I don't know if you can see behind me, but I have a whole stack of fabrics that are just, they're always coming in here. So a pillow is always...
You're like, right, because you have fabric anyway. Tons of fabric.
So much fabric. It's wild. I had to do something with it, and pillows was the perfect calling. So I don't like to waste fabric. I don't like to waste. So being able to use as much as I have is great.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to dig into, because I think, just following you on Instagram, I think you've done like a really good job of this, of like building a community and collaborating, because I've seen kind of your influence grow, and I've just seen your business grow since 2018. I'm like, go Nicole. Like, it's just like, amazing. Because I remember talking to you at first and you were just like, I'm just going to see what happens. I'm just trying to make this work.
Wing and prayer. I was just like, we're just experimenting right now. We are going to just continue to make things and wish for the best, That was absolutely my mindset.
But that's how it happens, right? I always just tell people, you just put stuff in the world wants it, they'll take it. If they don't, they spit it back out, and you just keep on moving.
That's it. And like, there's, a little bit, I'm trying to think, there is a little bit of strategy in it, but it's really a lot of imagination. It's a lot of, creating something and then hoping that it does resonate with people, that it somehow sparks, and there's interest that's there, and that it's seen, right? Because there's so much that goes in with so much content that's being produced online, because that's primarily where I showcase my work and market myself, is on social media. There's a lot of stuff that people can be taking in, and people can choose to put their dollars wherever they want. So to create a product that resonates so much where people want to invest in it or have you create something custom for that is amazing. And that's how I try to distinguish myself and really sink into that lane. It's like, whatever you are creating from your imagination and how you're creating it, like, that spirit is resonating with people to the extent that they actively are seeking you out and want to collaborate with you. I try to make my social media, it is a sincere reflection of me and how I talk and, kind of not package, but how I present things. I like things that are colorful and fun and bright and energetic. and have a story to them. I love to talk, as you can tell.
But it's working.
So thank you. It's fun. I really do enjoy social media. I know it can certainly be a place that you know, it requires a lot of attention, a lot of energy. It can be overwhelming, but I try to use it as a space of play. It's where I can be inspired, put out fun, pieces that resonate. It's not too heavy. Like fabric, chairs, upholstery. We're all about aesthetics. It's all about, creating an atmosphere, creating an experience. And I'm super happy that people come to it and they're like, girl, I love what you're creating here. Like, I want a piece of that. Yes.
Well, it's a whole mood and a vibe. So that was going to be my question for you is like with, you mentioned collaboration, you mentioned being seen, and you mentioned there is like a little bit of strategy to that. So especially because I talked to you at the end of 2018, but really saw that momentum last year, right? So what did that strategy look like? I mean, clearly you had a strong brand because I think even like the songs you play on stories and kind of like the images, everything kind of goes with like your brand, right? There's like a mood to it. So what was like your strategy for like building that collaboration, building that community, getting seen more? Like what were some of the things that you think helped propel you?
Well, thank you for all of that. Like, I love that there is a mood, there is an atmosphere or a vibe that you're getting. And I think that's sort of a natural extension of things I already like and kind of the space I like to cultivate when I'm working. I'm always working with music. I love creating, again, going back to stories. I like to use Instagram stories to show the process, to give a little more detail and insight to what I'm doing. It's not so much like I want to show completely how the sausage is made, because I think there's something really cool about the mystery of artistry as well. But these vignettes and snippets, I like to present them in a way that is unique and have a bit of a cinematic quality, if you will, because that's how I like to experience my content too. That's how I like to experience movies and TV shows, or watching artists in their own homes or studios create. And so a little bit is just adapting what I like to see in terms of what I like to create. And when it comes to like the collaboration and stuff, all that is really organic and natural, just connecting with other people whose aesthetics or voices or products that I really like, whose personalities I'm just really curious about, reaching out to them and sending them a compliment like, hey, I love your stuff. This is really amazing. And just from that, there's always some kind of natural way to connect, whether it's with the woodworker, a textile designer, a painter. Last year I was able to collaborate with a painter, and she created these beautiful textiles, and I use those to reupholster chairs. So I don't want anything to feel forced, because I'm really sensitive to that. Even just in taking in content on myself, if something feels like you want me to feel a certain way about, your product or about the experience, as just my personality, I kind of have like a natural inclination I don't want anything pressed upon me. I like it all feel kind of organic. And that's why I want people to approach my work too. I'm not trying to sell anything to you and that's fine, for people to do that, of course. But it's mostly like I want to present. This is, kind of what I do. This is the craft. This is what I love. And music helps me to sort of articulate that as well.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's all about brand storytelling, and that's what you're doing. You're telling that story, and then either people resonate or not. And if they resonate, then it sounds like that's when those collaborations come, and, maybe future business from people because they're like, oh, there is a connection there. I want to get into the meditation pillows. But before I do, I just wanted you to maybe give some examples of some of the different things you ended up doing last year, because the last time I talked to you, you were doing, I think it was like a workshop that maybe was out of town and people could bring like, something they wanted upholstered. And then you were reupholstering, also pieces for people. But it sounds like, last year your opportunities opened up and you were doing a little bit more maybe with other artists or hotels or whatever. So yeah, can you just speak to that?
Absolutely. Last year was so many things had come about that I was not even expecting, because the year before it was Christmas time and I had just gotten really sick. I don't know what it was. I had gone home for Christmas. Home is Minnesota. And I had just come down with a really bad flu that was basically took me out for like 3 rest or 3 quarters, because I was trying to just recenter and how best to take care of myself and how best to use my time versus just running around and saying yes to every project that came my way. And I had a chance to do that and just be more mindful of sort of collaboration. I started to notice like collaborations that were popping up I had been thinking about doing, and just the ways we collaborated felt like it was a slower process. It was a more intentional process. It was less labor intensive in the sense that like I didn't have to, I could take my time and come up with different textile collaboration or combinations. I can take my time sourcing chairs and put things together in a way that felt more thoughtful. So I was able to collaborate with, again, the painter. Her name is Lily. I was able to work with hotels that I had been thinking about working with. The Rosewood in Georgetown had been renovating, and they reached out about doing some patio cushions. And to me, that was amazing. It was the exact client I had been wanting to work with and the exact partnership. It wasn't like, it didn't feel like there was so much of a push, It was just easy to work with them. And then around in the summer, I had an amazing opportunity out of nowhere. Van Ness Main Street's the director, Sherry Lester, she had reached out to me and was asking if I'd be interested in having a pop-up store. And I was like, wait, like an actual place to showcase. And it blew me away. For one, it was like in my neighborhood, a beautiful location right on Connecticut Avenue, lots of great foot traffic. But also I had been doing so many markets and craft festivals, and I enjoyed doing them, but I always felt like the black sheep a little bit, because I'm bringing in this like $800 furniture, and there's other vendors who are selling smaller takeaway items like, clothing, shoes, or jewelry, or books. And it was kind of like, are people going to buy, my pieces? Is this the right sort of venue for me? And so being gifted an opportunity to create furniture that was, kind of the star, and having time to really produce a collection as if one would for Fashion Week. That's kind of how I thought about it. It was really a great chance for me to go into my sketchbook and dig out all the things that I had been imagining doing. And not just the furniture, but it was a chance to create a whole space. You talk about that vibe and the atmosphere. I was able to decorate it. I brought in a friend who has a beautiful company called St. Plant, and she brought in a bunch of plants that she sourced, along with these custom handmade pots that she worked with the potter to make. I was able to bring in and ceramics and just create an ideal version of a space that I would want someone to come in and just relax and feel at home. And everything in there was custom, the chairs, the pillows, the couches. It was amazing. And that opened my eyes up to other ways that I could collaborate with people beyond just doing upholstery. Now I could go in, and I was getting offers to make people's spaces, redo their homes, which was something I really dabbled in before. So I said, let me just experiment and see, because I'm not trying to just say yes to everything and scale and it's not sustainable. But it just really opened my eyes, and also in the ways of retail and having a brick and mortar. Is that something I want for my business right now? Is not. I realize it's not. That was really fun. I would do it if it were something kind of like a pop-up sense. That was a 2-month pop-up, and it was perfect because you create something that is ephemeral, it has an impact, and then you just kind of go, and you can pop up something else. I would love to do that. But last year was just really, really fruitful. And around the time that the pop-up was closing, that's when I moved into this dream studio space and was able to envision that different way too. So 2019, I'm incredibly grateful for. It gave me breathing space and really helped me to say, okay, what are the things that you can throw against the wall and you want to stick? So, yeah.
And then, I guess that, I wanted to just to talk about the pillows, because I feel like there's some lessons learned that the listeners can take away from this, right?
Yeah.
Because you weren't necessarily expecting it to go the way it went, right? You just did it. There wasn't like a business plan and you were like, oh, let me write out this business plan and I'm going to have these pillows and then this is right. Yes. We're just like, hey, let me see what happens here. Let me just try to help and boom.
That's it. Like, let's put something out there. There's no, like you said, there was no strategy. There was no financial goal. I hadn't calculated cost, which all of it sounds completely irresponsible if you think, you're thinking like as a business owner. But I have been thinking so much about, I wanted to just create things for people. For me, I like to just, it sounds weird as a business owner, but I like to give things away. I will create a chair just because it's an idea that I wanted to get out. And then later I'm like, you know what? I don't really need this chair, and I'll give it to a friend. Because everything for me is not necessarily tied to money. Money is it's a wonderful tool and resource to have, but I like creating things just for the fun, for pleasure. And with these meditation pillows, it really started out with, I just needed a meditation pillow. I had been looking around, I saw some on the internet, and they all just were a little, they were cute, but they were a little too plain. And I was like, well, this is like a poof cushion, but just different stuffing or different filling on the inside of it. And I was doing research and found that buckwheat hulls is the main material that's used to stuff meditation pillows versus a regular poof or an ottoman, because they just they support your body weight longer over time. And so I created one for myself, and I created one for my best friend and gave it to her to test it out, and she loved it. I loved mine. And I was like, well, I can make a bunch of, So I had started, I think I had designed 6 initially, and it was just with scraps of fabric that I had from past client projects. And I made 2 different shapes. One was a triangle. The other is more of like a circle or oval kind of shape. And when COVID-19 happened, they were all in my studio, had just been tucked away in there. And I was thinking, like, there's so many posts, people are expressing their anxiety, understandably. And I didn't want to create or post something that was like, buy a chair, because it just seemed like a frivolous luxury to me. I was not going to advocate for people who were trying to, get things from the grocery store and farmers markets to be like, come and get your chairs. We're still working away doing stuff. Yeah. I was like, how can I be of service? How can I help? And then I text my friend and I was like, I have these pillows here. I want to just kind of give them away to people. Does that make sense? Am I sounding crazy? And she was like, girl, go with your gut, go with your intuition. And so I posted on Instagram, maybe, 9 a.m., that I had these 6 pillows. I was going to give them away to whoever was interested. And then the rest, if anybody else wanted more pillows, I would make more for, a small donation. And you can give whatever. And when I tell you, like, that was March 5th, my inbox my DMs was a wreck from that point on. I had no fewer than maybe 200, messages.
Oh, my goodness.
And I was like, oh, okay. I have no idea how to, slow this down, but I responded to everybody, that day. And I said, I'm more than happy to make a pillow for you. There were so many folks who just gave whatever they wanted to, numbers I was not expecting by any means. Some people who were students, and they were like, I don't have any money to pay right now, but I am looking to start a meditation process. Absolutely, you get a pillow. I wanted everyone to have access to one. It wasn't something that I was like, I need at least, $20. I need at least $50. I didn't care if you could pay or you couldn't pay. I just wanted to do this. And it just filled me with so much joy. Even thinking about it right now, like I want to cry a little bit because I was not expecting that response. And something for me that just seems like a natural extension of what I kind of enjoy doing, that it was resonating with other people, is how I want to feel in my business with everything that I'm creating. So instead of keeping them on my DMs, the strategy I did come up with, if there was a strategy, was I then decided to make that a product on my website so I could filter everything there.
Because that could get overwhelming really quick.
And I don't have an assistant, so no one's combing through my messages and like responding on my behalf. It is purely me trying to like keep track, and Instagram doesn't have a track. Like there's no real way to organize product orders, So I had to write down people's names and addresses and say, okay, they've ordered 6, they've ordered 5, they've ordered 1, whatever it was. And so I'm still working through a lot of those orders. And it's my first time shipping a product as well. I've not shipped
something. So chatted about that on Instagram. I was like, how are you mailing these?
Listen, I was like asking all these people, friends who sell smaller items. I'm like, so how do you ship? What's going on? And I think you had actually suggested in the comments, you were talking about, is it Uline or Uline, ULINE? Use their to buy some boxes from them. And so that's what I did. I measured my cushions just to see what the depth was and everything. And I ordered 10. I bought a printer. I did not have a printer before, so I can print out my labels and everything. And because I was kind of nervous to go to the post office. This was early in, the quarantine. And I wasn't sure if there was going to be a line of people, if they're doing 1 in, 1 out kind of thing. And I didn't want to be standing outside with like 5 meditation pillows because they are about 2.5 pounds each.
Right.
So I bought that, and just like for the first time shipping to people all over the country. I have a couple that are going to the UK even, which is really exciting. And so out of this sort of, spontaneous product creation, I'm also learning, okay, I can operate my business in that way. I can incorporate this, sort of strategy into how I move going forward. And I have a better sense of cost for things with regards to the pillows and the materials and also the shipping. But it's certainly a product I want to continue to offer people, and putting it on my website in a way that makes sense for me in terms of managing orders. And I have to feed everything through my Instagram feed has been very my goodness. But I just wasn't anticipating that response, and it was really wonderful. And it's another just testament of create the thing, sort of like if you build, they will come kind of. But truly, if it resonates, and you will know that.
Yeah. And for the people out there, I'll definitely link to the pillows and put a pillow in the show notes. It'll be episode 110. So nachesnow.com/110. I'll have all the things, and I'll also put on there kind of some of the recommendations in the comments, because we were talking about boxes, and then we were talking about how to ship, because like some people use ShipStation. There's Uline if you need
USPS.
Clear bags, USPS. Oh my goodness, people don't know about. They slip on that because you could get free boxes from them.
Listen, order free. Like it's like one size. If it ships, if it fits, it ships. That's sort of their slogan. And I knew mine were a little bit bigger than the boxes they were selling, but you get you a box, you print out your package, you can sign up on their website, they click and ship, and tell them how many packages you have and when you want them picked up, and they will pick them up from your home. You don't even have to go to the post office. So
it's sweet.
Amazing. There's stamps.com. There's so many amazing online resources. If I can figure it out, everybody else can as well. Because I was like, what are we doing? What?
but I love this because I feel like it all balances out at the end. Who knows, like after COVID, like where this will lead. And maybe just for it to be sustainable, you will have to like charge a certain price, because if 200 orders become 1,000 orders at some point, or then 2,000 orders.
Oh my gosh. I definitely have a cap on the website. So what I did, the way I determined how much to charge, because now initially, that initial post, it was kind of pay what you wanted. And so now they are priced at $60. And I went with that price because that was like the average of what people were sending based on the donation. So I was like, what do people feel like giving?
Oh, that's smart. Yeah.
So, I just kept them there, and then shipping is $5. But yeah, if you go to the website now, you won't be able to choose a specific pillow because they're all custom, but you can you can choose from a color. So you can say, oh, I want a yellow one because it goes in my home. Or there's an option for designer's choice. And you can just leave it up to me to create a pillow using whatever combination of textiles I have. And yeah, it gets shipped right out to you. So I tried to streamline it as best as I could for people and for myself, just to be able to have a track. Because a lot of folks were messaging and saying, well, can I get a purple one? And it was hard to accommodate over 200 requests and, a specific request that I was not trying to take on 200 clients, at one time.
Right, custom.
So, yeah, it was less that. So I did specify that on the website, where it's like, this isn't so much of I'm presenting you with mood boards like I would with the client, and then, you pick your fabrics, but you can say, I want a white one or I want a green one. And then from the textiles that I have with those colors, we'll create something for you.
Yeah. And you know what else cool I've seen people do is there's this, I think is it if you give a girl a saw, that might be her Instagram account. I can't remember, but it's a woman that does like woodwork.
Yeah.
And I follow her on my other Instagram account. I have like 3 Instagram accounts. I got like a makeup one. I got a creative route where I make stuff. I got dreams, plans, and ideas where I do my journal stuff. And then I got Nache Snow where I do the branding stuff.
That's smart though.
But you know why? It's because everything has a bucket, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Like I should get one for just food, because I want to post food stuff, and I put it on my stories, but like I'm always eating. That's literally my hashtag. Nicole is always eating.
So you should do a food one too.
Do that. So you just inspired me right here. What's your other Instagram? I want to follow that one.
Yeah. Check out Creative Route. So that's where I make stuff. So like I'm into wooden beads right now. So I just made a plant hanger, and I'm about to make another plant hanger. And then I'm about to make some kind of like macrame beaded thing to go on the back of my wall here.
These are gorgeous. Oh, I definitely am going to be messaging you about these. I've been wanting something like macrame, and look at the beads. All right.
So I just like making stuff. So that's like, Cause it's weird. Like if I posted it on the Nache Snow, sometimes I do post my stuff, but it's every once in a while because it doesn't necessarily fit with the brand, right? Like there, I'm talking about organization, entrepreneurship, planning, goal setting, not necessarily. This is how, I laser cut. This is how I make a plant hanger.
It's so good that you're saying that, because I know a lot of people do kind of grapple with, the branding from that aspect. There's so many facets to yourself because you're a human being and you have all these images. And it's like, how do you reconcile them? Is it on one Instagram account to be part work, part personal thing, or are there separate Instagram accounts that you have? And I think both answers are right. It's all about how you kind of manage them, the voice you're using. I love the fact that you have different ones to compartmentalize and control, what it is you want to talk about today. I'm talking about these beads. So follow over here on this account. I'm talking about, journaling or planning or mapping things out over here. So follow that. I think that's really smart. I'm definitely going to get one for the food.
Get one for the food. Because it's so, because to me, it's like, because people are like, how do you have all those accounts? And I'm like, well, it's not hard for me, because if I make a thing and I take a picture of it, I know which bucket it goes into, right? Yes. The only beast I feed, if you will, is the Nache Snow, because it's like, okay, I'm trying to get people to listen to the podcast. So there's like, there's more strategy to that. But to the other 2 accounts, it's just, I'm doing it for fun. And if there are people who want to see it, that's great. And If
Yes.
only 10 people want to see it, I don't care. I'm doing it for myself.
I think that's critical. It's like, the energy management. You're not going to have equal parts energy, and they all aren't intended for the same purpose. One, you're trying to monetize. The others are for fun. They're outlets for you to have, but very focused outlets. And so I think that's part of beauty too, is like, I'm doing this for me, and I would love for you all to follow. And then over here is more like the strategic branding. And therefore, the amount of time you're spending on one is obviously going to be different than the other one. But it's not where you're burning out because you're trying to devote equal amounts of energy all across the board.
Oh, my God. And that's how people get burned out.
Exactly.
But over on Creative Route, I follow several wood makers, but there's this one girl, I think that's the account the Giver Girl saw, but it could be another one. But I like how she does hers, because what she'll do is she'll make a whole bunch of stuff, and then every like Saturday or Sunday, she'll be like, it's on the website. These are my 10 pieces.
Yes.
And your stuff kind of reminds me of that too, where you could do that. Like, here are the 8 pillows. Have at it. Go.
It's so funny you say that, because a couple of friends had mentioned this a while ago. They were like, you are good for like the surprise drop. You just be putting stuff out there like, oh, we've got these things now. We're offering this. We're doing that. And I'm like, yeah, I like being stealth in that way a little bit. Also, like, shout out to Beyonce for inspiring all the, just surprise drops and whatnot. Because I think I don't know, I resonate with that. It's creating something in the background and taking your time with it and not over-explaining it too much, or not building up too much hype, because I think that's fine too, but just being able to create something when it's done. For me, it's also a test, because I did it, and it's finished. I don't have to keep talking about it. Or if I don't do it, then I'm like somehow hung up on the fact that it's not finished, it's not complete. But here it is, like, it's ready for you to have.
Right.
If it's a pillow or a chair or whatever it is, I want people to have access to it as soon as possible. And that's when it's done. So that's when it's being released, Yeah.
Yeah. But it's so interesting. There's like so many different ways to do it. And then even, I follow some accounts where they're like, we ship on Saturdays. So it doesn't matter when you order, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is ship day. And that I'm like, oh my God, that's such a great way to manage your time. Right.
Absolutely.
There's like so many different ways.
I'm doing the same thing with my meditation pillows, is for people who live in D.C., Maryland, Virginia, coordinating pickups from my apartment building lobby, because it's too costly to try and ship everything, and also not feasible to deliver to everybody in the area. So I do my pickups on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that way I know, there's people who are expected to come on this time frame. I know when pillows should be done by, and I have the rest of the week to continue to do my commission work or personal projects or whatever I have on the background, as opposed to being like, well, shoot, what day is so-and-so coming by and what time? It's like, these are the 2 days and this is the address.
Right.
And that, streamlines a lot of things for me. And my friend Keela, who I think you may have talked to her before, she has Little Fish Accounting. But we were studio mates over in Georgia Avenue for a few months. And she was such a big reason why I do have days segmented by, what activity I'm going to do that day. Because I was running all around town, meeting clients in their homes on Monday through Friday, and there was nothing really streamlined for me. And so she was like, what if you just, maybe have your Monday as your admin day, your Friday is also your admin day. That way you can bookend your weekday.
Yes.
And, maybe do client consultations on Tuesday, do all your deliveries on Thursday. And that is like game changer. Having a system in place just gives you peace of mind. It helps keep deadlines, kind of in order. It changes everything. So I just adapted that whole mindset with the meditation pillows as well.
No, I mean, people who've been listening to me for a while, they know I'm like all about the systems. I can't survive without the systems.
Seriously. Like, I had to learn that, because that wasn't natural to me when I first started entrepreneurship. I was just doing things, creating it, and then putting it out there when I wanted. But having a system is so key. And that is going back to the thinking about strategy. That is definitely part of, working. That's my strategy. Is there are certain days that are allotted for certain things.
Right.
Because I was listening to a podcast a while ago, I forget which one, but the woman, she had such a powerful comment that stays with me. And it was like, she's less concerned with the idea of time management and more with like energy management, because you may have time, throughout your day or your week to do things. Like you have time to, meet with people or do a chair or, have 5 Zoom calls or whatever it is. But like, is the energy there? Is that aligned with you? And there's so many times when it's like, no, I do have time to do 5 chairs, but I don't have the energy. I may just want to like read or source fabrics or sketch some stuff. And that's okay. The next day I can come in and have the energy to reupholster those 5 chairs. But it's like giving yourself, even with all the strategy, giving yourself some grace, to work organically, because you're a human being who is managing work, and it's not feasible, at least for me. I'm sure people are able to do this, but for me, it's not feasible to always be like, this is exactly what I need to do today, how I need to do it. I have certain markers that I try to meet, and if I don't, I give myself grace to say, we can take care of that tomorrow, because the energy is there today. Because there's been so many times where, like a couple weeks ago, actually, like news just became a little overwhelming, and I wasn't in the space to do my work. And it was like 2 whole work days, that I quote unquote lost because I just was at home reading or taking walks. And a couple days after I was able to process, came in and like was able to knock out all that work that I had been meaning to do in the span of a day and a half, maybe. And I still had time to like have my pint of ice cream and watch Golden Girls. Like,
right.
There has to be some space built in for you to process, to take time, and realize everything doesn't have to be regimented and completed at the timeline that you gave it. There's space for flexibility in all that.
I 100% agree. And that just flows right into your like meditation pillows, right?
100%. Like it is, meditation has changed my life. I can't even explain. And I don't do it every day, to be honest. There are certainly days where, I'm not meditating, I'm not journaling, but it is a grounding process that I really need to just calm myself down, to not start my day right away with jumping into emails, because it's so easy to do. My phone is right next to me when I wake up, so that's my inclination, is to get on Instagram. But I try not to check my emails until at least 9 if I can. And before that, get my little pillow out here, surround myself with some crystals, and try to recenter. And if I don't do it in the morning, I'll try and do it at night. If I can. And it's been my learned practice that with my business, I do want to approach it from kind of like a holistic space. I have worked really, really hard, and I've beaten myself up about not meeting certain markers in the past. And meditation helps me to keep perspective and give myself grace. And I think it helps me to communicate better with people. In fact, with the emails that I get and the interactions that I have, I can manage personalities, I can manage fires, I can manage expectations, all much better coming from that space of, having meditated.
No, I love it. I mean, I'm a big time journaler, and I have multiple journals for multiple things. One for like ideas, which is like a crazy journal. So it's not as beautiful as like my daily journal, which is probably more of like the meditation one where I'm like, let me log what I've done for the day, just so I can kind of see what I've done and what I've accomplished. And it just makes me feel good. Right. And then also I love my Apple Watch, and I should have stock in Apple. I know. But it has like where it reminds you to breathe, right? Woo. And so I'm like, that's kind of a form of my meditation too, where it just is like, okay, take these 60 seconds, breathe in and breathe out. And I feel like that's like a good way of like centering yourself. And I was like laughing with my friend because I was like, well, hopefully it's making my lungs stronger too, because it's like dangerous out in these streets.
Listen, but it is such a game changer, isn't it? To like,
it just feels.
Oh, it changes everything. No, I too have been thinking about it, and there's a post. I saw it a while ago, but it was like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but unclench your jaw. And when I think about that, like automatically,
how much like
yes, the tension you hold in your mouth, you don't even realize it until you consciously choose to breathe and pay attention to your body. Because I'm like, wow, my jaw really was tight, and I didn't even notice. But
what's so funny, even though I smile a lot, what I notice, especially since I'm doing more like video stuff nowadays, is like I have like usually like this crease. And even I just posted like a video on the homepage of my website. And when I went to my homepage, I was like, am I frowning? Like the video started with like but it's just not exactly. But it was weird. It wasn't necessarily I'm frowning, but it was just probably me thinking. But you hold all of that in your face.
Absolutely. I'm never more aware of my face until like this quarantine with all the Zoom calls and FaceTimes. I'm like, wow, what are you doing right now, girl? Like, relax, relate, release. What is going on? Right. That's so true.
I just want to thank you. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I wanted to bring on one or two folks from the past because someone asked me a couple of months ago, they were like, it would be nice to know what has happened with some of your past guests. And I was like, every once in a while I should bring, one or two on just so people can do a check-in. And I thought of you because I saw the meditation pillows online after chatting with you. And I was just like, oh, this is perfect because I know you've grown so much since 2018 and so many amazing things have happened to you. But also I was like, man, somebody might need that meditation pillow right now because just so much going on. So thanks so much for coming on, agreeing to come on.
Thank you for having me. Honestly, this has been amazing. And I think I was telling you in the last podcast episode we did together, having the space to talk about your process, and externally process is really refreshing and helpful. And it's always amazing just talking to you in general, but being able to talk about entrepreneurship and from this space, that helps people and hopefully provides a little bit of respite during this time is incredible. And I'm so happy to be on here doing that with you. So thank you.
What did I tell you guys? Good stuff, right? Good stuff. I just want to pull though one thing out of this episode that I want you guys to sit with for a second. And it's what she said about the quote that stuck with her, which is, you should be less concerned with time management and more concerned with energy management. And I love that quote because even when I think about myself, I'm very aware of what sucks up my energy and what doesn't from people, the different things that I do. And and you guys know I'm a big time management person, but I also really use that energy management in order to make the decisions on what I should focus on and even who I should be talking with, because if somebody is going to suck up all my energy and I know they're going to ruin my day, guess what? I'm not talking to them. And so that energy management is so key because you can be more productive and do more things if you're aware of your energy and you're aware of when and how you should do things. And there's a lot that goes into energy management too. There's like tons of articles on it. But from your nutrition, how you take care of yourself, from exercise to eating to meditation, all of the things, they all play into that energy management, knowing when you're going to be best at something because you'll be more energized to do it. I mean, there's just so much to go into it. But I just want you guys to maybe look that up a little bit more. And if you guys want me to have somebody come on to specifically talk about energy management in order to help you really figure out how best to spend your time, just shoot me a message or leave a comment, because I'd love to do that, because I do think it is very key in order to like get things done personally and in your business. So thanks, Nicole, for bringing that up, because I think sometimes that is overlooked, and time management gets all the fame and glory when really it's energy management that truly helps productive people get things done. Anyway, talking about managing time, know that this past week I actually put out a digital planner that you could use. It's a simple kind of one sheet planner. I'm working on a larger one, but it's a digital one. Even though you guys know I love my regular journal planner, but this one is really nice because you could use it in GoodNotes or Notability to just figure out what you're going to focus on during a day. And it really helps you kind of track things, and it's so easy to like move things around. I'm really getting addicted to this whole digital planner of life. So no, there's going to be more products to come out, but this is the first one and I'm just trying it out. And if you would like to try it out for free and give me feedback on it, go over to nachesnow.com/digital to do. And that is digital to do. nachesnow.com/digital to do, and you can download the sheet. And I even have a video on how you can use GoodNotes in order to do it. And of course, this is for people who have a tablet and a pencil. So sorry for you people who are hardcore pen and paper. But for those of you guys who do have a tablet and are looking to use your tablet to become more productive, I think you'll really like it. So definitely check it out. All right. I hope you guys have an amazing morning, noon, and night. And I will catch you guys next week with another amazing episode. Please, if you like this episode, share away. And please give me a 5-star rating or a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. All right. Take it easy. Bye.